You realize I ain't straightforward like his significant other, nor was Aaliyah. I suppose that is the reason he had her killed. Hello. You never heard me on no record with no one, and they tried me no doubt was who placed Jay-Z on. And afterward, Enormous L kicked the bucket. And afterward, the before you know it, James doing tunes with Big Deal. And building a functioning observers say that Jay-Z purportedly dove a blade into Rivera's stomach and crushed a jug over his sibling's head prior to running out of the club. With his music profession and tremendous organizations, Jay-Z has the world under his feet. He's the ruler of hip bounce today. And cash streams from his pockets like water yet. How could he figure out how to accomplish this? Individuals near him have begun to uncover the vile truth behind Jay's prosperity. American rapper T.I. supposedly guarantees that Jay-Z is an exceptional. He's gone to the extent that noteworthy the justification for why Jay-Z has turned up like this. What occurred in Jay-Z's previous that transformed him into this savage beast? We should figure out now. It will droop anybody in any relationship. Without T.I. believes he's a superior rapper and a preferred man over every one of the huge names in the business right now, including Jay-Z. T.I. very much like most of us feels that Jay-Z's fierce propensities are a propensity from his dull past. Such propensities don't bite the dust and follow you through life. Jay could have had a troublesome adolescence, yet he made do by depending on viciousness, and afterward kept the brutality to get himself a decent life. Jay-Z is a fortunate man, and furthermore a guile one. He knows how to transform his karma into fortune. His dad deserted him as a kid, and everybody thought his life was over. He could never succeed, and made certain to be a disappointment, yet Jay-Z made something happen and turned into the primary tycoon craftsman. As per the rapper's own words, "I'm not a financial specialist, I'm a financial specialist." What a vibe, decent, inspirational story, right? Sadly, things are significantly more disheartening when you understand Jay-Z isn't quite so motivating as you once suspected. Jay-Z had a fairly astonishing music vocation. Dissimilar to the remainder of everyone, he didn't appear to battle a lot of. As a matter of fact, he came and became popular short-term. Now, some of you might accept that as a result of his ability. Yet it's significantly more than that. Each of his adversaries felt like Zoom around him, and Jay-Z rose to the high position of the rap world. A couple of opponents losing their professions are more terrible. Their lives could be an occurrence, yet so many of them. There's most certainly something vile happening with Jay's. The rapper Panther voiced the apprehensions that go through the entirety of our brains. Biggie passed on, Tupac passed on. There was the battle between who was the top rapper, now Nas and Jay-Z. And afterward, the before you know it, Nas has a mental meltdown, and he's removed from the game, and afterwards saw Jay-Z. Puma is by all accounts extremely certain that Jay-Z has accomplished his riches and status. By malicious implies that man is covetous and reveres cash. All that in his life is only a stage towards more cash, more distinction, or more influence. He won't stop at anything to accomplish what he needs. He will droop anybody in any relationship for $1. Take a gander at how he did Dane, assuming that you're a mostly clever individual. When do you begin addressing how fortunate somebody continue getting? When we say anything we amount to something, be it still dangers or even homicide. Jay-Z is a rough man who won't prevent from harming individuals to get things his way. Once at a club, he got into a battle with a record maker, and on second thought of sitting and settling their battle like a man, Jay-Z took out a blade. This stunned everybody by then. At that point, yet it was past the time to stop him, Jay-Z wound up cutting the record maker and came to the titles as the fierce rapper who attempted to kill somebody. Observers say that Jay-Z purportedly dove a blade into Rivera's stomach and crushed a container over his sibling's head prior to running out of the club. This wasn't the initial time Jay-Z became fierce, and that too in a jam-packed club. The rapper got physical with another man quite a while back by hitting him with a jug over his head. The man had obviously never really maddened the music magnate. And for no great explanation at all, he got his head crushed with a jug. Coincidentally, I was driven into Jay's where he pivoted and just hit me with a jug over the head. Not this Jay-Z, even encircles himself with similarly brutal men. Every one of the men around him who should keep him in the clear, and to forestall actual savagery, are similarly basically as muddled as him. They likewise thump up anybody who gets into Jay-Z's way, regardless of whether it's by accident at a club his entire company. I mean around 30 people. She don't continue to, hop me, hit me with tables, etc. At such endeavored murder isn't the of Jay-Z's violations, obviously. It's genuine homicide. Jay-Z was associated with the homicide of the youthful and hopeful vocalist Aaliyah. The artist was beginning, and appeared to be the fate of the music business, yet her life was stopped by an extremely odd plane accident. Presently individuals accept that the plane accident was no mishap, and that Jay-Z was the genius behind Aaliyah's demise. You realize I ain't straightforward like his better half, nor was Aaliyah. I suppose that is the reason he had her killed. Jay-Z is known for playing grimy with regards to accomplishing his objectives. He doesn't allow anybody to remain in his way regardless of whether name in the business. There have been serious charges that Jay-Z sent individuals to deal with Kanye for him. This sounds like a silly gossip until you understand that Kanye himself has tended to these reports. He said, "I've been sent here to give you all reality. Jay-Z, call me Broski. You actually ain't call me Jay-Z, call me Jay-Z. I realize you got executioners. Kindly don't send them at my head. Simply call me, converse with me, like a man." Jay-Z likes to believe that he does to individuals how they treat him. He says he resembles a mirror that will just mirror your conduct. He said, "I'm a mirror," says Jay-Z. Grin. Into the mirror, you'll get grins back. Hurl abuses into the mirror, you'll get affronts back. Really, this sounds like a sluggish method for keeping away from responsibility. He is no mirror, a man with a capacity to get his hands ridiculous. Effectively, plainly, Jay-Z is a savage man. And it began as far as possible back when he was just a small child of 12. How and for what reason did he become so rough? It was his previous that molded him. I wouldn't feel open to discussing that on television. It's not cool, better believe it. That is a piece over the line. Jay resided in a lodging project after his dad deserted the family, and he was left to battle for himself. It was simple, causing problems, and kid, he sure caused problems. As per Jay, it seemed like he was a crab in a barrel who couldn't get out and was left to experience on his own. It resembles crabs in a barrel. You've seen crabs attempting to escape the barrel. They pull each other down. Attempting to get up, they'll snatch anything they can. Individuals are where they're prepared to do anything, so it's extremely risky. And you're residing close by other people, so you need to manage risk consistently from each point. At only 12, Jay-Z tasted blood. Interestingly, he shot his sibling in the shoulder, in spite of the fact that he doesn't appear to be staged by it any longer. Yet he's certainly not pleased with it. In a meeting, he at first would not discuss his past, however, at that point later said, "Right, yet I would rather not go there once more." Yet what occurred in the undertakings, particularly in those days during Reaganomics, it was break wars. The fragrance was wherever it was mined, boggling around evening time. It resembled zombies strolling around. Exceptionally hazardous. Large chunk of change was being made by dark children, and they were battling about that cash. And afterward they had uses. Might you at any point envision self-loading weapons? Jay-Z likewise got into a dependence as a young man. He turned into a vendor of drugs and felt that cash plan to fix his life. Yet the more achievement he got as a seller, and the more cash he made, the more he stalled out into this wreck. He discussed his dull piece of his life and reviewed around 16 around that age, until I was around 22. I began as a tiny person on the road, yet inevitably I did approve, and that made it significantly harder to leave. I felt like I was making much more than the rappers. I had a Lexus with televisions in the vehicle. I felt like my life was superior to theirs. You could have had a rope chain. Yet so did I. A few fans are hopeful that Jay has turned his life around, and that this viciousness is only a thing from his beyond. One individual remarked, growing up who were in a horrendous area and being impacted by a ton of brutal individuals is a climate that would unleash devastation on most juvenile minds. JC is a grown-up now with a decent life and a family. I'm not vindicating him of his violations. I'm essentially proposing he might have improved as an individual, that he was as a youthful hooligan. Others believe that it's a disgrace, that he actually will partake in his vocation and business open doors, despite the fact that he is fierce and hazardous. One Redditor wrote, to make an already difficult situation even worse, it doesn't actually get him dropped expertly, either in the way of life where he and individuals like Chris Earthy Colored exist. Being a savage lawbreaker simply gives you cred. That is all there is to it for now, people. Until next time, farewell.